Tommy Norris problems are already getting worse after Landman Season 2, Episode 2, and there are some big developments from the most recent episode to unpack. Tommy was already dealing with the death of his mother in the premiere of Landman Season 2, but now he has to deal with his father as well. He also has new problems with MTEX, and Cooper is putting even more on his plate. That's not even the beginning of Tommy's problems, however. Angela and Ainsley were detained at the retirement home. Monty had a lot of secrets that are coming out after his death, and an old villain from Tommy's past just reinserted himself back into Tommy's life. Landman Season 2, Episode 2 gave Tommy a lot of new headaches to deal with, and it's worth investigating all of them in greater detail. Who is Cooper's new partner? Galino's role and Landman history explained. The biggest development of Landman Season 2, Episode 2 came right at the end of the episode. Throughout Episode 2, Tommy was trying to figure out who was behind Sonrisa, the financial firm that had backed Cooper's purchase and drilling efforts on his small parcels of land. Neil eventually uncovered Sonrisa's leader, and Tommy clearly recognized them even though it was just a picture. Though they didn't use his name, it was clear that Galino, Andy Garcia, the cartel leader from Landman Season 1, is the founder of Sonrisa. It was Galino's picture on the form, though he was going by the alias Dan Moral. Evidently, Galino is both a high-ranking member of a Mexican cartel and has a public-facing persona as a financier in Dallas. At the end of Landman Season 1, Galino saved Tommy from Jimenez, a cartel boss who was trying to kill him. After saving Tommy, Galino informed him that the cartel wanted to work closely with Tommy as they moved into the oil industry. Galino also made it clear that Tommy wouldn't have a choice in the matter, though he seemingly hasn't made contact with Tommy again in Landman Season 2. Galino being the founder of Sonrisa is the worst possible scenario for Cooper to be in. Galino and his cartel almost certainly have something illegal in mind for Cooper and his wells, as evidenced by his too-good-to-be-true contract terms. It's still too early to tell what kind of trouble Cooper is in or how Tommy will factor into Galino's plans, but it's safe to say both Cooper and Tommy are in for a world of problems. What is Cammy looking for in Monty's office in Landman Season 2? One of the more confusing moments in Landman Season 2, Episode 2 came when Cammy went to Monty's old office and began searching through his desk and computer. She didn't explain what she was looking for, and Landman didn't reveal what, if anything, she found at Monty's office. Luckily, we can figure out what she likely found with some context clues. During Rebecca's meeting earlier in the episode, one of the lawyers mentioned that Monty had a lot of skeletons in his closet. That lawyer was likely right, given the fact that Monty was able to make the offshore drilling deal under very suspicious terms and without either Tommy or Cammy knowing about it. Thus, it stands to reason that Cammy found evidence of Monty's suspicious business dealings while searching his office. We don't know the exact details of what Cammy found, but it's safe to assume they're dubious at best. Monty's offshore oil rig deal was extremely sketchy, and he managed to get payment up front for it. There's no telling what other sketchy business deals he made while he was alive, and Cammy needs to know about them so she doesn't get blindsided again. Landman Season 2's offshore gas drilling deal explained Emerson Miller, copyright symbol Paramount Plus, Viacom International, courtesy Everett Collection. After Episode 2, it's clear that Monty's offshore natural gas rig deal is going to be a big problem in Landman Season 2, so it's worth knowing more about. Unfortunately, the specifics of the deal are full of complicated legal terms, financial figures, and require knowledge of the oil industry to properly understand. Luckily, Landman still gave viewers enough information to get the gist of the situation. Monty had an offshore gas rig that was destroyed in a hurricane. His insurance company paid out $420 million after the natural disaster, but that money was legally required to be used to rebuild the oil rig. Monty somehow managed to get the insurance company to pay it all in one lump sum instead of in pieces as the rig was reconstructed. Monty, however, used the $420 million to buy new oil fields in Landman Season 1. So, Cammy, Tommy, and MTEX are now on the hook to rebuild an offshore oil rig that they didn't know about with $420 million that they don't have. Rebecca was able to poke enough holes in the insurance company's breach of contract lawsuit to avoid a trial, but MTEX still has to rebuild the rig. They also have an incredibly short timeline to get the rig running again, as Monty should have begun repairs before he died. Tommy's family dynamics and relationship with T.L. Norris explained. The biggest new addition to the cast of Landman, Sam Elliott as T.L. Norris, also had some big revelations in Episode 2. We already knew that T.L. is Tommy's father, but the newest episode gave us a lot of insight into their relationship and Tommy's upbringing. Suffice to say, Tommy didn't have great parents or a great childhood. Landman Season 2, Episode 2 revealed in bits and pieces that TL was an abusive alcoholic. Tommy mentioned that TL worked himself nearly to death until his back and leg were destroyed in an oil field. He also mentioned that TL would beat his failures out of Tommy. TL, for his part, thinks that Tommy doesn't work an honest job and just robs other people. Dorothy, Tommy's mother, was no better. Tommy explained that Dorothy was addicted to cocaine when he was a child, and given the fact she died in a memory care facility, it's safe to assume she had dementia later on in her life. TL said that addiction killed the part of Dorothy that he loved and turned her into a cruel woman he thought was going to hell. Tommy evidently stuck both of his parents in retirement homes as soon as he could. Why did Ariana kick Cooper out of her house? Emerson Miller, Paramount Plus. One of the first big developments of Landman Season 2, Episode 2 was also one of the more confusing ones. Ariana and Cooper have been lovebirds since Landman Season 1, when Cooper moved in with Ariana after her husband died in an oil rig blowout. Despite their love for each other and all the hardships they've already faced together, however, Ariana kicked Cooper out of her house. There were a few reasons for Ariana's decision. The first was that Cooper didn't answer his phone all day, which made Ariana worried that he had died on the job site just like Elvio, her deceased husband. Then, Cooper wasn't very receptive to Ariana's fears and anxiety and simply said that his phone died, which only made her more angry. It was one thing not to answer, and a much worse thing to dismiss her feelings so bluntly.